Hello all, welcome to my office, where some, but not all, of the magic happens, if there were such a thing as magic. Which maybe there is, I don't know. I like to think so. But that's a topic for another forum. Yeah, so I am not writing this entry. I am videotaping it instead, because yesterday I had my cognitive function part of the learning disability thing, testing daily, and as a result my cognitive function is yeah, I think they kind of broke my brain, or bent it a little or something, I don't know, but yeah, see, cognitive function, I can write sloppily on things. So it took about 2 hours, and it was not fun. The first thing that this isn't really necessarily in order, because I'm not very good with sequencing, which you would think would not be the case since I write and stuff. But anyway, the first thing I remember clearly is the decoding, or sight words thingy that they had me do, that she had me do. It was basically a version of hieroglyphics, where she showed me, first it was like a series of 3 simple pictures, like of a little stick figure with a hat on it that meant cowboy, then a flag that meant horse, and like a long line with 2 shorter lines that meant dog. And as the test progressed, she showed me more, and I was supposed to read these stories, these little pictorial stories, using those quote-unquote words. And I understand why they did it that way, because when you're reading, there are certain words that equate to physical things, like cat is cat, dog is a dog, house is a house, that sort of thing. But then there are words, is, the, they, that sort of thing, that you just know on sight. You have to learn so you know them on sight, and that's a huge problem with dyslexics and other people who are visual thinkers. And unsurprisingly, that's what I struggled with the most. So I could remember the things that were objects. Like I could remember what house was and what tree was, but I got those two confused because they were very similar. What ground was, but like the ones with color, I didn't get those. I had a hard time with not. Weirdly enough, the proper names, because there's Frank and Bob, and I could not keep those two in order. I kept getting them confused to the point where the doctor just burst out laughing at one point and said, well, maybe they're twins. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably it. They're twins. So that was very frustrating. But as the 2 hours of testing progressed, that we kept redoing that one. Kept coming back to that one because I'm sure that's what's required. So anyway, the next one, spatial reasoning / orientation, which I don't know if that's the real title of that subtext, because she didn't tell me them all. But that one required you to look at different shapes that were broken into smaller shapes, like puzzle, and they were put together at the end, and then you look at all these broken up pieces on the other side of the line, and you pick between 2 and 3 of those. And I don't know how I did on that. I've always had trouble with that too. I've never been a fan of jigsaw puzzles. So, yeah, I was looking forward to the end of that one too. So, yeah, there's that. And then there was math reasoning. That one was pretty much a big part, the one that I remember vividly, was, there was a key. There were 3 boxes. Like the black and the yellow box equal a black box. The blue and the red box equals a yellow box. That kind of thing. And as the test progressed, they showed you equations where there's one box and then an equal sign and then like between 2 and 4 boxes. And you were supposed to choose which color goes in the blank boxes, the white boxes. And that one was just awful. That was really bad. Then there was another math one. I don't know if it was math reasoning, but it was where there were pictures of shapes of different sizes, and there were some that were double, there were some that were single, and then there was another box with specific shapes in them, and you were supposed to decide what rules followed the puzzles. So like if they're all big shapes and then there's a little shape, the shape has to be little in order to be in the box. If the shapes are all yellow and the shape in the box is red, then the pieces have to be red to be in the box. That kind of thing. And that was another one of those deceptively simple things that was really hard towards the end. So yeah, I don't know how well I did with that either. Then there was word recall, which is another one I've always struggled with. That one was, she would show me pictures of things like leaves, shoes, that sort of stuff, and then she would turn the page, and then I was supposed to choose what was on the previous page. You know, it was between 2 and 3 or 1 and 3 or something. So, yeah. That one was a little frustrating. It wasn't as bad as the math ones. Then there were short-term memory things. I guess that was the short-term memory. What was word recall? Word recall was, oh, right, yeah, word recall was when, she asked me to name as many animals as I could in a span of 3 minutes, or as many names as I could in a span of 3 minutes, that kind of thing. And she also had me name pictures, like a cat, dog. The one that got me was for the carriage. I couldn't think of the word carriage for some reason. I kept going chariot or cart or something, and it was a carriage. But yeah, that was the word recall. Short-term memory was the picture thing. And she would also have me repeat words and numbers that she told me, except not necessarily in the order she told me. Like in the reverse or grouping them. And for me, it's hard enough remembering anything more than 3 things. Like letters. Letters are horrible, or not letters. Oh, yeah. My brain is still, wow. Anyway, numbers. Numbers are my big weakness. Because they just don't, I don't know, they just never take root in my head. But anyway, yeah, that sucked. And then the last thing she had me do was circle similar pictures in lines of different pictures. Or that was the second to last, whatever. The very last thing she had me do was circle whenever the picture of a ball was followed by a picture of a dog. And it was just a whole page of these little pictures in different sequences, and I had to, go through. So, yeah, it was interesting, and I hope it'll be worth it, because it's very strenuous. A lot more strenuous than I thought it would be. But, I'm sure it'll be worth it in the long run. So, thanks for watching. That's it for now, and who knows, maybe I'll make more videos if there's any interest in them. So, take care, all.